Any dons out there who want to support your boy the YB on Patreon, check me out with a link in the description below. So, as you've seen by the title, Deontay, Merkled by hashtag Pillowfist Wilder, has accepted, or is going to accept, his rematch clause. Kevin Iole is what we call the man with the links. He's got the exclusive. Kevin Iole is the first man to speak with Deontay Wilder since receiving his butt splittage. Now, people have been wondering, where's Wilder? Why haven't we heard from him? Well, when you get your cheeks split that wide, it takes time to recover. Yeah, you can't be talking. Trust me. When them cheeks get busted, you can't be talking. Why do you think he didn't want to get in there with Dillian White or AJ? Never mind Dillian White. Why do you think he didn't want to get in there with AJ? My man was intending on speaking again. Wilder had been radio silent for 3 or 4 days, and that's from fury. Imagine, we wouldn't hear from Wilder again if AJ had split them cheeks. Big old African buck. Do you know what I mean? One of them ones there. Anyway, Kevin Iole, like I said, he's got the drop. He's got the exclusive interview with Wilder, and it said the following. Deontay Wilder said he will go to Africa at the end of March on vacation, and he plans to exercise his rematch clause for a third fight with Fury. He said he'll get back to boxing once he returns from Africa. Now, this sounds to me like some sort of soul searching. What do we know? AJ actually did a similar thing, didn't he? AJ went to the slums in Africa after his loss in June 1st. So it seems to me like Wilder's potentially, after all this anointation, I'm anointed, but all that stuff's kind of gone out the window. He's looking for some spirit. And you know what? I can't really knock that. However, what I will say is, this is just his post-fight interview. We really need to wait a little while yet, in as much as, yeah, I think even Winkle said he's going to sign it, but nothing's been signed yet. Let's call a spade here. Nothing has been signed yet. Yes, he said he will. Yes, Winkle said he will, but it's not locked in. Until it's locked in, until papers have been signed and whatnot, we don't really know. Or in reality, until the 30 days are up, we're not really going to know. And if I'm honest, he wasn't, for example, if Wilder was, let's say for example he's bluffing, let's say he's not going to take it, is he really going to come out the day after and tell you lot, oh, you know what, I've bottled it, I don't want to get them cheeks split again like this? So to me, I hate to be a negative Nelly or a conspiratorial Nelly, but I wouldn't buy too much into this. I really wouldn't. I like to wait and see. I like to, for example, what do we know? AJ, when he lost on June 1st, he was posted up in the interview. Do you remember? He was posted up on his channel saying, "I take full responsibility and I look forward to seeing Andy Ruiz in the rematch." That gave us, and that wasn't the only thing. We had Instagram posts, we had this, we had that. See what I mean? He was active. He wasn't acting like a broken man. AJ wasn't. AJ was out there. He was out. In fact, he was even taking the Michael on the basketball court. Do you remember? When he was saying, when the guy said that one of the New York dons, some young New York lad said to him, "Don't lose to FAT people," kind of thing. And AJ was laughing and whatnot. So AJ was out here with the people still after his loss, which showed that there was a certain level of psychological competency, even having lost his belts. And AJ's always been very level-headed. People laughed at him for being humble, but the level-headedness has always said that the belts don't define me. However, I hate to say, guys, Wilder's not the same kind of cat. Wilder, that belt, oh me, one face, one name, one champion. I'm the WBC Premier Belt. That belt, that was Wilder's identity, I feel. He believed he was anointed by God, did he not? So the fact we haven't heard peep from him, he didn't turn up to, no, there's been no, do you know how like on it TMZ are? TMZ get interviews out of everyone. No TMZ interview, never mind interview, no TMZ pictures. We haven't even seen Wilder after his loss, kind of thing. One of them ones there. Some creepy one. I reckon he's been... Al Heyman's probably cloning him up now. They've probably got cloning him up. On some Dave Chappelle thing. What happened to Dave Chappelle? Dave Chappelle got offered $50 million. He went to Africa as well and come back cloned. But anyway, that's for another channel, another day. But listen, Wilder, will he take the rematch? Well, like I said, the title says here he will. He said he will. Kevin Owley, the man who spoke to him, said he will. But I'm coming on here to tell you to take this with a pinch of salt. And I think it's important as well that we remain fair, because what do we know? Let's get it straight, people. When Wilder versus Fury 1 finished, what were we all saying? We was all BULLY-ing Fury, saying, oh, Fury ain't going to want the rematch, Fury shook, Fury don't want to be hit like that again, etc, etc, weren't we? That's what we were saying. We got to be consistent now. So, with that in mind, if we were gonna sit there and we were happy to mug Fury off for months before, until Fury, in fact, it was up until the day before, we weren't sure that Fury was gonna get in the ring. People, let's get it right. Hatman, I actually came out and slayed Hatman. Hatman was saying, oh, Fury ankle injury, Fury pulling out, Fury this, Fury that. He was the one starting all these rumours. Eddie Hearn as well, to be fair. Oh, ankle injury, oh, I'm hearing he's having a bad camp, all this kind of goofy stuff. At that point, I went on that kind of goofy stuff. I was looking for Fury to go in there and march Wilder down. That's what I was on. That's the team I was on. Let's call a spade a spade. That's what we do know. Yeah? But, that said, people weren't sure he was going to get in there. So we have to treat Wilder the same here. Especially when, I think Wilder's laughed at Fury being mentally fragile. Talking about how Fury don't believe he can hurt me and all this kind of stuff. You're looking kind of mentally fragile now. Your excuses about how, oh, no, there was nothing wrong. It was my heavy robe, my heavy walkout robe is what made me lose. Wow, that's the excuse you've got. That there is an excuse of a man who isn't mentally stable. Listen, if I was a trainer and I heard my fighter say that as an excuse, I would have made him, I would have forced him get in the back of the ambulance. I would have forced him, listen, the doctor, would have put him through an MRI scan. Oh, in fact, I would have taken him to the hospital, put him in the MRI scan, and scanned him as many times it took until he stopped saying about the cape. Yeah? I'd put him in there. Deontay, why do you think he lost? Oh, man, it was my cape. I'd say, you know what? Put him back in the MRI. Give it another scan. Let's see if we can catch something here. We're obviously missing something. That's what I'd be doing. AJ comes out, and this AJ just shows, like, I'm not trying to blow no one here. Well, you can call it what you want. Blow it if you want. AJ comes out, and we almost begged him to make an excuse. And now I see why. No, to be fair, let's get it right. I would never have begged AJ to make that excuse, but still. This is difference in caliber. Fury, and do you remember when AJ lost? Wilder was celebrating, and to be fair, to Fury's credit, he actually came out and said that AJ will bounce back. But Wilder was celebrating, talking about, oh man, he ain't no champion. He quit. Now who's the one who quit? Now who's the one who sat in his corner slumped? By a man who, and Fury was the one calling him pillow fit. Wilder was the one calling him pillow fist. Imagine that for the irony. But anyway, the point of this video is, don't hold your breath on this one. The same way I wasn't so sure that Fury was going to take the rematch, and to be fair, Fury didn't get finished. Fury got a draw. Let's get it right. Let's be fair here, people. We weren't sure Fury would take the rematch after being knocked down twice. Never mind stopped. And to be fair, Wilder was the one with the power. Can Wilder come back from being put down by the self-proclaimed, the man he called Pillow Fist? Can he come back from that? And it wasn't like it was a whatever. He got busted. Fury made Wilder grab his ankles, and I even put a picture out of it. Go on my channel and you'll see the picture. Yeah? The picture says 1,000 words on that one. That's what Fury did to him. Fury made him gobble his carrot up. Simple as that. That's what did happen. That carrot got gobbled. So yeah, all the signs I'm seeing, especially in this interview. Yeah, the interview wasn't very long from Kevin Iole, and it is, by the way, the reason why there isn't no audio. It's a text interview, but you can see if you type in Kevin Iole Yahoo Sports, Kevin Iole's a known kind of interviewer within sports, so it's all kosher kind of thing. But he didn't spend much time talking about the rematch. Like, he hasn't spent much time talking about his, like I said, the interview went that long, but still, he hasn't spent much time. He sounds more focused on going to Africa than anything else, kind of thing. I'm not sure what's there. Maybe the deep state have got some kind of cloning organisation going on there, where they're going to send him there and clone him up. Because what we do know is, if that same Wilder gets in there with Fury, his cheeks are getting split even wilder open. How about that? Never mind wider. His cheeks are going to get split even wilder open. That's what will happen if he goes in there again. And I'm not sure I see it. It's one thing not being able to see Fury taking the rematch with Wilder after the first fight. That wasn't what happened to Fury in the first fight. It wasn't what happened to Wilder in that fight. He was finished. And he's meant to be the bully, by the way. Wilder's meant to be the bully. It's one thing when Fury got a draw against a man who's meant to be the big puncher, kind of thing. Wilder just got marked by the man with no power. Does he want to risk? Now, it's one thing to say, it's one thing being positive, but does he want to risk? At least if he retires now, or if he leaves it now and goes back to fighting Ortiz again or Brazil, he can kind of say, he can make all the excuses he wants. Oh man, my robe was too heavy. My robe was heavy. He can kind of live on that. He can live on a lie. But what happens if he goes, mentally speaking, does he want to really go in there again and happen again? Imagine that. Imagine knowing that Pillow Fist has your number in that way. Pillow Fist makes you grab your ankles. Imagine that. Will he be able to live with him? He's got to live with that for the next 40 years, 60 years. Or he can duck the rematch and kind of, it's a fluke. You know what? I would have knocked him out if I did it again. See what I'm trying to say? There's two ways you can do it. I'm not sure, but then again, there are other factors. Maybe there's a lot of money involved, and Wilder is delusional. That's another thing you have to bear in mind. The fact he's blaming his costume, that tells me he's truly delusional, which implies that maybe he thinks he will go in there and win again. He thinks he still is anointed by God. That's what that implies. So I'm on the fence here. All I'm saying is, don't think this is signed off. Don't be shocked if they don't pull some weird trick, because you know that Finkel and Al Heyman, they like to keep their fighters going. They like to milk every little penny out of them. Now the Wilder fight's big. The Fury fight's big, but there are other things they can milk here. Wilder vs Ortiz 3, Wilder vs... They can keep milking that all day. They can milk that again and again and again and again. They can't milk Wilder getting merkled by Fury, can they? There's no milk in there. If Fury finishes Wilder off, he's finished. He's finished, isn't he? If we're honest with ourselves, finished. Whereas at least if he kind of slips under the radar now and keeps they can kind of build him up again. I'm not sure, man. All I'm saying is I'm on the fence here. If I was to bet, you enter my head. If I was to bet, I'd probably go with taking it because of the money and because he's delusional. But like I said, be skeptical. Let me know your thoughts.